Let's just get familiar with the position of the press up, the plank. Hands underneath the shoulders, feet wider apart makes the press up easier, closer together makes the press up a little bit harder. So about shoulder hip width apart is good. Now you want a straight line that goes from your head to your heels, contracting the abdominal muscles. When you learn, try to do it slow and have patience. There is no point doing 10 press-ups or staying in a plank for 1 minute if you don't do it correct. So take your time doing properly. Now the next step is to actually bend the elbows. Now I recommend the elbows, when you learn the press-up, learn it properly, take the elbows back. Now as a beginner you may not be able to do exact all the way down. So just go a few centimeters, a few millimeters. It doesn't matter, just build up the strength gradually. Now some trainers and coaches, they recommend knees on the ground. That's not the way I do it. The way I do it, I recommend you to just go small press-ups, just do one, have a seat, relax, do another one, have a seat. You can do 2 or 3 press-ups a day, just a few centimeters above, into the press-up, rather than go all the way and straining your muscles. Just have patience. What is important is to maintain that alignment, a straight body, eyes looking slightly forward than the arms, and pushing out through the heels. The abdominal muscles are contracted, are engaged, and imagine there is actually a platform underneath your body, and that platform actually lifts you up. Another way to do it, or this can be the next step, is to do negatives, as they're called. You go down very, very slow as you can, all the way to the ground, just control it, and then you just sit up as you normally do. So very slow, and then you just sit up. Again, do one at a time and take your time. It is really important to get it ready from the beginning, because it's easier to learn it good from the beginning than to try and correct the mistakes a few months from now. Just make sure your hips don't sink and they don't rise above the chest either, because the chest and the hips have to go both in the same time, to go down, to come up. The chest leads the way. One of the mistakes beginners make is to place their hands ahead of their body. While this is a press-up variation, it makes it more difficult, and then you go out of alignment. So keep the hands underneath the shoulders to begin with, to learn it properly, and then you can do variations. Another mistake is the hips go out of line. Either they go up, while it can be a press-up variation if the hands are closer to the feet, but let's do the classic for now, and the hips going down, overarching the back. So keep the hips aligned with the shoulders, aligned with the head, aligned with the ankles. Or another mistake is for the chest to go down and the hips to stay back, or the hips go ahead of the chest. You should think about how the chest leads the way. If the chest stops 2 centimeters down, the hips stop there. Another mistake is to sink into the before they bend the elbows. So bend the elbows, stabilize the shoulder, and bend the elbows. Don't sink into the shoulders and then bend the elbows. Another mistake is the head position. Usually when it gets difficult, people try to use their head for some reason. So the head should stay in alignment. They shouldn't compress looking up or forward, but it just shouldn't drop either. Should be aligned. The spine should be aligned and have that natural curve there. To get to a point to do the full press up, you need to practice every day, to practice this technique, even a few minutes a day, or incorporate it into your workout routine, and have patience for your body to adapt. I went really fast through the technique, so do read the notes that come with the video, and if you have any questions, get in touch.